Hello everybody, it's Pirate Camp here talking to you again about Overwatch. The beta has been out for I think around about a month now, maybe 3 weeks, maybe even longer. I can't say I am exactly sure, so I thought I would give my impressions on how the game is holding up. And I must say my answer to that is surprisingly well. Just after day 2 I was starting to get a little bored of the game, but I'm still playing it. I am still hooked. It is still a very enjoyable game. It is not perfect. It has its problems, as all games do. It's a team game, so it's more fun to play with friends. If you're like me and none of your friends got into the beta as well, that's hard to do. The test dress weekend was a lot of fun because a lot of people I know did get in for the weekend, and we had a blast just teaming up, being able to coordinate our plays, do those real big time plays, those big time saves, those big time pushes when you need them, the big time defences, and it becomes a lot more fun working together to see what the other team are, what heroes they're using, what characters they're using, and then picking on a team basis what you're going to do, how you're going to take out the Bastions, how you're going to take out the Reinhardts, all that kind of stuff. It adds another dimension to it and it makes it a lot more fun. However, I am still playing it with the randoms. I still suck as much as I ever did. I can't play as DPS, I just can't do it. My aiming is not good enough in Overwatch to be very effective as any of the DPS classes, and I find it is the DPS classes that have no real easy hero to play. All of the others do, you know. Support, you've got the turret guy. Sorry, I'm terrible with names, but you'll know who I mean. The turret guy, he's fairly easy. Set your turret up, keep it alive. You'll get a good number of kills, a good number of defense, but he's not DPS. Healers, Lucio is... Some people like him, some people hate him. I really like him. I find him quite easy in that his healing is passive. But you do have to position yourself well, keep yourself alive, and of course you do have quite a lot of damage actually, quite a powerful attack. His sonic gun, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. It's a very impressive attack, you know, 3 hits and you can take somebody out, which is the same as the DPS classes, so in a way he might be overpowered, but most people don't seem to like him, which I think is a real shame. I think he's a great character. He's my healer of choice. Unless I know there's some heavy damage and we're going to have to do some heavy pushes, then I will pick Mercy. Now her ultimate, whatever they're called, where she can resurrect the whole team if she has to, is a game changer. It's a game winner, it really is, which does make it a little bit overpowered. I mean, the ultimate should feel like a game changer. If you use it well, you should change the path of the game. That's what they're for. They are meant to be the big time plays. You know, when do I use my ultimate? And keeping hold of one, if you've got one, to use it at the right time should be a key element of the game. However, none of the others have the same effect as Mercies can. If you're defending the point and the attacker has a Mercy, you can clear all the attackers out and then she'll bring them all back to life, and then they'll wipe you out and they'll win. It's that simple. That is what her ultimate can do. So yeah, maybe it is a little bit overpowered, but I wouldn't want to see it changed either, you know, unless you limit the number of heroes she can bring back to life, so maybe make it, you know, maximum of 3. That might help. But you're always going to find it overpowered. If you've managed to fight off a team and then she brings them back and kills you, it's going to annoy you. You're going to find that overpowered. It's just the nature of the ability. I would hate to see it go. I think it's a really good ability, but I think a lot of people then pick Mercy because of her ultimate. She's got a strong ultimate. She is a strong healer, and of course she can increase damage. She's got the 2 beams, so she can increase the damage of another character, but I don't find her the best healer in all situations. The other 2, whose names I've forgotten, you can tell I don't play them, I don't really like. I think one of them is called Symmetra, is incredibly boring to play. You apply a heal on a character once, I think it's a shield, it could be a heal, but in either case it keeps on going over time and you don't have to apply it again. So you've got to put that on. You put some weak turrets around when you're in defense, which can get destroyed incredibly quickly. Admittedly, if you deploy those well, you can get a lot of kills out of those turrets. Don't get me wrong, but if you're a healing class, turret kills are not what you're looking for. What you're looking for is to keep your team alive, and I don't really think she offers a lot. And the other healer, the one who floats around, suffers from the same problem. You can throw a healing orb on one player only, and that's it. You throw it on, you can move it around, so if someone else is getting damage you can change who your healing orb is on, but that's essentially all you do for healing. You've then got a discord orb you can throw onto a member of the enemy team, which reduces their damage output, but again you've only got the one, and then the rest of the time you're doing damage. Now, all healers do damage, don't get me wrong. You have to in this kind of game. It's a first-person shooter. You can't sit around with no damage as the healer. It doesn't work. If you're playing a healer, I think the main part of your gameplay should be keeping the team alive. And only Mercy and Lucio really give me that feeling. Now, Lucio is passive, but you do have to play a good placement game to keep your healing rolling, and of course know when to do your boosts. So there is a lot of gameplay where you're trying to keep your team alive. Mercy's is more direct because you've got the beam. You need to shoot the right people on your team to heal them up. So, you know, it's a more direct way of healing. I like both. I prefer Lucio just because of his manoeuvrability more than anything else. He can get out of shit really quickly. His wall jump is fantastic for jumping out of damage. He can ride over players when they're trying to kill you, which I really like. And I really like his ultimate, the shield wall that he does, which shields all the team. I think is quite powerful as well. If you're doing a big time play, you're going for that final push. You know, you've got 30 seconds left on the clock and you're trying to get that objective. Giving everybody an extra shield can really make a difference. With tanks as well, Reinhardt is quite an easy tank to pick up. He's got a big ass shield. You keep his big ass shield up, you know, walk towards damage. You can make a difference for your team as long as your team's willing to stand behind it and let you lead the plays. Then you can make a lot of difference with Reinhardt with very little practice, very little uptime on that hero. Winston again is fairly easy to pick up. He is more jump into the middle of things. Don't really go for the kills, but you can really disrupt people, force people to run away, get your shield up to protect your team. But he's a very mobile tank. You know, he really does just jump in, cause a lot of trouble, he jumps out again, try and keep himself alive. Fairly easy to pick up. His weapon doesn't need any aiming. Well, not pinpoint aiming. It's a gun that's just, it fires out electricity and it will find players to kill. So that, you know, it makes it fairly easy. You don't have to worry about the aiming there, which makes him a fairly easy tank. D.Va as a tank is a little bit strange. I find her a little bit weak as the tank. I find that her mech suit is destroyed a lot, and once she's out of the mech suit she's incredibly vulnerable. Now that's fine when you're playing as her. It means you can keep yourself alive, but it also means that you're not acting as a tank if you're not in your mech suit, which I think is a problem with that character. I really do. But again, she's fairly easy to play. She's got her shield that she can put up. She's got the guns which you can either go up close, cause a lot of damage, kill a lot of people, or they can spread out quite wide so you force people to run away. It's a nice attack style, fairly easy to pick up, but the fact that her mech suit gets destroyed as often as it does, and not just when I play it, when other people play it on the other team, they're out of their mech suits quite a lot, and I think that is a problem with that character. I think that needs to be addressed. Now the other tanks, I have played as them. Roadhog is very much more attack. He's got no real defensive capabilities. He can stay alive for a long time. Again, he's got a wide shot and he's got an up close powerful shot. He can drag people out of formation, which is brilliant. It's a wonderful way to attack. Not that easy to pick up, in my opinion. He requires a bit more skill. His gun needs to be aimed really quite well to be effective. He only has about 4 shots, I think, before you have to reload. So you've really got to, you know, manage that. Not my tank of choice. Reinhardt is my tank of choice, just because to me he does what a tank should do, which is he can just sit there, soak a lot of damage, and then if you want to get aggressive with him, my god, is he good. If you want to get aggressive with Reinhardt, he's got a very good attack. If you can time it right, his rocket forward, you can take out the whole team if they happen to all be standing in a line. But it's brilliant, you know, and his energy beam thing from his hammer is a little bit harder. The trouble with Reinhardt is all his attacks are slow, so they're very easy to dodge if you're the opposing team. But what it does mean is if you get one right when you're playing as Reinhardt, it just brings a huge smile to your face. You know, when you suddenly slam 3 people in a row, take them all out. It's just epic, which is why I like him. The other tank is that woman whose name I have completely forgotten. I've only really started playing her this week. She's like a more complicated version of Winston in many ways. Her gun is an energy gun, but you have to aim it. It's incredibly powerful. It's a really strong weapon if you can connect. She's also got a kind of secondary pulse fire, fires like a ball of energy. which again, if you can hit people with it, is incredibly powerful. It's really good fun. Her ultimate is like a black hole which sucks people in. Now, this is where the tanks really get separated, is in what their ultimates do. So Reinhardt and this tank woman whose name I can't remember really have the same kind of thing, which is you incapacitate a large number of the team. So Reinhardt does a huge smash on the ground with like a conal pattern out the front, which knocks everybody off their feet, which if you can time that with the other members of your team to take out the people on the floor, is incredibly effective. The black hole works exactly the same way. It sucks the team in but doesn't necessarily kill them. So if you can time that with a damage ultimate, you can take out the whole team, the whole opposing team, which is fantastic. Winston's special is just attack. He goes nuts. You jump in and you hit people as many times as you can and kill them. You try and take out the whole team on yourself. Diva's special, I think, is a little bit overpowered, although now people have learned that you have to run away and that you can indeed hide behind a wall to avoid it. It's becoming less so. So basically what she does is she abandons her mech suit and destroys it, and if you're caught in the explosion, you're pretty much dead. Now Reinhardt's shield can soak the damage, which is useful to know. So if it does happen and your team is in the open and you're playing as Reinhardt, scream at them to get behind your shield and they'll all survive. Again, she can clear the board. That attack can clear the board, and when it comes down to having to stand on objectives, so when you're capturing point, everybody runs away from that attack, and even if you don't kill anyone, that attack can give you the win because people have to hide from it or they die. And if you're in overtime, that can completely scupper the defending team's chances, which I think is possibly a little bit on the wrong side. It might be a little bit overpowered in that regard, in that if you can have a well-timed ultimate at the end of the game, you can change the whole course of the game. That is the beauty of Overwatch though, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. But again, yeah, so their ultimate seems to be damage, you know, you go in and kill them yourself, or incapacitating the team so your other members can finish them off. So there's a little bit of difference there, a little bit of change. But yeah, I've gone into a little bit of gameplay technique, which I'm the last person who should talk to you about that. I'm not very good. All I wanted to come do is talk about the state of the game. But the state of the game, I think, it's in a good place. It's a really fun game. I cannot play it for hours on end. I just can't do it. Don't get me wrong, I've put many hours into it, probably more than some, but whereas some will sit down for 8 hours on a day and just play match after match after match, I can't do that. I can manage maybe 4 matches before I have to leave, and then it might only be 10 minutes later I'll jump back in, I'll do another 4, but I cannot just keep on going and going and going. I don't know why that is. It's not about wins versus losses, which is what I thought at first. I thought, was I playing more if I won in a row than if I lost? Doesn't seem to be the case. I'll lose 4, I'll win 4 in a row, and then I'll stop, do something else, and I'll go back in, which I think is fantastic. I think for a game at the beta stage, a very polished beta stage, but that polish I think comes because of the lack of game modes, the lack of maps. You know, there are 2 ways to do a beta. You throw everything in at a rough stage and let people play it, or you polish 2 things and then just allow the people to do that. And Blizzard have just polished 2 things. They've done them really well. None of it's unique. It all comes from different places. You know, there's nothing new. Overwatch doesn't offer any new gameplay techniques. All it really seems to do is just smash first-person shooters with the team management of something like Heroes of the Storm or League of Legends together to make an interesting game. It does make it an interesting game. I am very much looking forward to seeing what the esports people do with Overwatch, but I'm going to do a separate video on that, just talking about how I think that might work. But yeah, state of the game month in, I'm still playing. I really enjoy it. If you get into the beta, or if you're in the European region and you're in the beta, do let me know. It'd be great to team up with some of you guys. As long as you don't make me do damage, I can pretty much hold my weight. If you force me to do damage, then you're just going to laugh at me and call me a noob. But if you let me heal or tank, we should be okay. Don't let me snipe. I cannot use the snipers. They are not in my remit at all. I don't have the patience or the quick reflexes to use either of them. So don't make me do that. And we'll probably be okay. I can scrape along as DPS, don't get me wrong, I'm not as bad as I sound, but it's not my forte, that's for sure. Thanks for listening. I know I ramble on, it's just, I think and I talk at the same time. I don't really think out what I'm going to say. It's not how I roll. A little bit of ramble. I think Overwatch is going really well. I will be doing more videos. The gameplay you're seeing is mine. It wasn't good. The bits I recorded were not good at all. It is a team game. If you don't have a good team, you're not going to do well, regardless of how good you are by yourself. Don't get me wrong, 1 or 2 good players can make a difference, but if everybody else is a noob like me, or casual, you know, I'm not a hardcore hardcore. I'm a filthy casual. So if you don't like team games, Overwatch is never going to be for you. I'm still upset there's no single player campaign and that all the story is going to happen outside of the game. Excited by the comic, the cartoons and the books and everything they're talking about bringing out, but I do wish that happened in game and not out of it. But Blizzard seems to like this tie-in merchandise method now. More money for everything. So what you can do. I'm also very worried about how we're going to pay for this game going forward. I've done the video on that, I'll link it below, you can go and see my thoughts on that haven't changed, although I do now believe they confirmed that maps will not be charged, and new characters, if they come out with new characters, they will also be included until the inevitable Overwatch 2, and we don't know how long that'll take to come out, but being Blizzard, you know you've got a good 3 years probably before they replace anything. I still think they've missed the trick. I think single player campaigns, paid for single player campaigns, could have been a more or less constant stream of money for Overwatch. You know, if you tackle one character every 3 months, I think people would have picked those up. I would have picked those up for a reasonable price, but unfortunately they're not there. All that story's going to happen out of the game. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Too long, didn't listen. Essentially, it's going well. I like Overwatch. I'm surprised at how much I enjoy playing Overwatch. It is a lot more fun with people you can talk to, with people you know. There's no doubt about that, it's better with friends. So if you do get in, and you've got some mates who are in, get together, play the game, you'll have a lot more fun. It is still fun when you're playing by yourself with all the randoms, don't get me wrong. That's how I play it mostly, and I'm having a good time. And yeah, let me know what you think. If you got in, are you enjoying it? If you didn't get in, are you liking the look of it? Let me know. If there's anything you want to know about the game, anything you want to see, let me know, and I'll do my best to capture it or comment on it. Please like, comment and subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you'd like to see going forward, and I will see you all again. Thank you very much.